Hi, this is Dr. A. So this series is going to be slightly different from what have been doing. So this is the first in several that I'm going to do about APA format because I teach research and this comes up in a lot of assignments and I know there's a lot of confusion about it. So I thought I'd throw a few videos together for you guys. All right, so first of all, this is in the context of discussion boards, papers, thesis, dissertation types of assignments that you have to do in APA format. Usually APA is used for healthcare. It's widely used for healthcare. It's not the only format out there, but it seems like, at least for me, that's what I had to do to use in grad school, through my master's and through my doctorate. So, and we used it for discussion boards, papers, thesis, dissertation, all of that. And I will say it's helpful for the discussion boards to write those in Word and use the formatting in Word, and then copy paste your entry, discussion board entry with your citations and references into your discussion board in whatever LMS format you have. So that's just a suggestion. I know that personally I've typed discussion boards and tried to get it all in format and then hit like send or upload and then it disconnected because it took me too long. Anyways, it can be frustrating. Okay, so first, when your teacher says they want something cited and referenced in APA, citing means attributing the source to the piece of information inside the text. So it's in-text citation. Okay, so as you are writing, when you get you're getting some ideas from different sources, you need to put where these ideas are coming from. So APA format will use the author date method of in-text citation, meaning you list the author's last name, comma, and then the year, and in parentheses. So if you're paraphrasing an idea from another work, you only have to make the reference to the author in your publication in your text reference, and you don't have to worry about page numbers. We'll get to page numbers here in just a minute. And so you can do it with, like here, this specific idea is the source goes to this specific sentence. So we have this sentence came from that source. So you have the sentence paraphrased, likely because it's not in direct quotation. So it's been paraphrased, and then you put the citation here at the end of the sentence before the period. Okay. If you want to cite something like these ideas come from, on the entire paragraph, come from a couple of sources, you can put it at the end of the paragraph. So this is after the period at the end of the paragraph. And you can enter more than one, so you can cite more than one author if you want to. It is nice when each author, though, is connected to the sentence or the idea that it comes from. Here's another example. So we have one here in the middle here so this sentence comes from Quater in 80, and you have the citation and then the period. This piece of information comes from AACC, and this piece of information here comes from Meehan and Coffer, and here's another one from Quater in 80. So that tells you in that paragraph, each sentence, each idea, where it came from. So if you are referencing to an idea from another work, but not directly quoting the material, or making reference to an entire book or an article or other work, you only have to make reference to the author and year of publication, just like I've just shown you. But if you're directly quoting or borrowing from another work, you should include the page number at the end of the parenthetical citation. So use the abbreviation P for one page and PP for several pages before you list a page number or page numbers. And you put a dash between the first and last page if you have multiple pages. And so if you're directly quoting, again, you're putting that part that you're directly quoting in quotation marks, and that's the difference between a direct quote or simply rephrasing, reworking the information, but attributing it to the source, which is what was done in the example before. Now, if you are directly quoting a work that's 40 words or longer, so this is pretty significant, right? It could be like a paragraph or something. You have to place it in a freestanding block of typewritten lines, and you don't put the quotation marks at that point. It's just going to be indented. I'm going to show you how it looks like. You start a quotation on a new line that's indented 1/2 inch from the left margin, and you type the entire quotation on that 1/2 inch indentation. So you have to know how to mess with Word to move your margin and have everything line up to 1/2 inch. You will maintain double spacing throughout because APA 7 requires double spacing. And you don't add any extra blank lines or spaces before or after the quote. And then the parenthetical citation should come after the closing punctuation mark. Okay, so like a period, whatever, and then you put it there. And all sources that are cited in the text must appear in the reference list at the end of the chapter, and we're going to talk about reference lists here in just a minute. So this is what it would look like. I just wrote words and things, literally words, so you can see. So you would begin your paragraph, and then you're going to insert your longer quotation of more than 40 words, and it's indented. The whole thing is level there, indented 1/2 inch from the normal left margin. And then if you need to continue your paragraph, then you continue here aligned with the left margin until the end. And then you see how you put your citation here, right there, at the end. Of course, I didn't put any punctuation mark. I apologize. So a little bit about the authors. In the in-text citation, you always provide the last name, so the surname, last name of the author only, followed by the year. So like this is a last name and this is a last name. There's no first initial, there's no first name, nothing, just the last name. So 2 last name, or the name of the company that is putting out the information as the author. That's another possibility. For 2 authors, you use "and" between the two last names, like these 2 right here. And for 3 or more authors, you will list only the first author's name, followed by et al. In every citation, and of course, comma in the year. So this is an example. For example, this one had a significant amount of authors, and so in your in-text citation, it would show her et al. And then the year. Okay, so I wanted to show you how to use Word to format citations. This is the way I've done it. I feel like it's the easiest. So first, Word is still in APA 6, so you have to know that's the default that's in there. And there is a way to upgrade Word to APA 7, but it's a little complex. I mean, it didn't take me but just like a few minutes to do it, so if you can follow instructions, it's pretty easy to do. I'm going to link the instructions in the video description for you to do that if you want to update your Word program to APA 7. Okay, so in Word, and I recommend you go to References and then go to Manage Sources to start entering your sources for your assignment, whether it's a discussion board or a paper or whatever. Then when you click on Manage Sources, this is what shows up. And you can enter a new source. This is going to be the list of all the sources you've ever entered while using that program. You can do new, and then you can start entering yourself the information. So you can select the type of source. There are journal articles, websites, periodicals, etc., books. You just select the right type of source. And then for your author, it will, if you put your mouse in the author area, it will show you what it wants you to do. But it's always last name, comma, first name. Then if there's more than one author, semicolon, last name, comma, first name, etc. And you just keep listing them. If your author is a company, let's say you went online, you went to Mayo Clinic or the CDC or something like that, and they don't have a specific author. There's not a first name, last name of whoever wrote the information. It's being put out by the company. Then you need to use the corporate author here. So that's what corporate means. It means a company. So you would want to click this check mark. This will become grayed out and this will become white. And then you can put Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic, or CDC. For CDC, you would want to spell it out, put Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. But you spell it out. And the difference between these two fields is if you try to put Mayo Clinic, for example, under the author, it's going to treat Mayo Clinic as a first name, last name, and so it's going to do clinic, comma, M, and it's just not going to be right. So you want it to show Mayo Clinic, for example, or Cleveland Clinic as an entire author. And so you have to use this corporate author field to do that correctly. Then you're going to put the title of the article, journal name, year, etc. So fill in as many of these fields as you can, and then you hit OK, and it creates your source. Then when you are writing, then you can actually, in the references, I'm going to go back here, you can use this insert citation. When you click this insert citation here, any source that you've entered for that paper will be there, and then you can just click on it. So you're writing and then you want the cite, you just go insert citation and just enter. There's even a possibility if your source is not there to add the source, and then you have to enter it again, just like I just showed you for managed sources. Okay, so you want, then you're done writing your paper, you've cited all the things, you have all your sources that have been entered in your reference manager. You need to make sure that you have a complete reference for each source that you have cited in your paper, which is, again, why it's easier to use the reference manager tool in Word. And so this is what a typical reference list would look like. Some of this is single space, but this is, a pretty typical look for a reference look. So if you are working in APA format and you are like in a paper or thesis or dissertation, your references should always begin on a new page. So you might want to do page break and then start a new page separate from the text or the essay or the dissertation. And this page is labeled references. Don't put the quotation marks, just put references, just like I did here. Put it in bold and center it. And to center it properly, you need to use the center tool in Word. And this seems logical, but I've had students try to center it by using the space bar. And that's not the right way to do it. You want to use the center function here. So you just make sure your cursor is on the word, on references, hit center, and it will center it for you to the middle of the page. And then your references will be listed. And after that, a proper APA would have everything double spaced unless your professor or assignment tells you to do otherwise. So again, if you use a references manager in Word, it will put it all into proper format provided you entered all the right information in. So this is where it's easier because all lines after the first line of each entry in your reference should be indented a ½ inch. And so that's a lot of busy work if you're trying to do that all that manually, whereas if you use a reference manager tool and you insert your bibliography, it will just do it for you. All authors' names should be inverted, meaning last name first, then the initials for the first, and middle names for your references. If you give the last names of first, middle, initials for all authors of a particular work up to and including 20 authors. So this is a new rule for APA 7. And APA 6 is stopped around 6. You could put like little dots. But here we got to have everybody, even if it's up to 20 authors. The reference list entries should always be alphabeticized, so by the last name of the first author of each work. So the A's and then the B's and the C's and all of that. Again, Reference Manager will put that all in the right order for you. If you have multiple articles by the same author or authors, and they're listed in the same order, then you list the entries in chronological order from earliest to the most recent. So when you refer to the titles of books, chapters, articles, reports, web pages, or other source, you capitalize only the first letter of the first word of the title and subtitle, and the first word after a colon and a dash in the title and proper nouns. So it looks more like sentence capitalization for those. But if you are citing or referencing work that's from a journal, right, then all major words in the titles of journals, so I say anything that has 4 letters or more has to be capitalized. And you do not italicize or underline the article title if it comes from a journal, and you do not enclose the article title in quotes. Again, the Reference Manager will do all that properly for you. The capitalization, though, when you enter the title in the Reference Manager, you have to get it right. So just remember, if it's a journal article, then you're going to capitalize every word that's more than 4 letters. And if it's not, if it's like from a web page, then or a book, then you are going to use more like a sentence capitalization. So when you are ready to insert your bibliography, then what you're going to do is in your references, you're going to hit bibliography right there. And then I had to, take a photo for it to do right. When you hit bibliography, you have all these options, and my preferred, because it doesn't mess with your formatting with having the bibliography, like for APA you want references, not bibliography, not words cited. So you want references, but you don't want it in blue, and so it's just wrong to do any of those. So I always just do this right here, this insert bibliography, and it just inserts it cleanly for you, just without any kind of title. And so that's the way to go. And so this is what it will look like then. So you have your references up there, and I hit insert bibliography, and I put it, you can see, in alphabetical order by last name or name of the business here. And then you can see, so like this one is from a website, and you can see how this is italicized. And this one is also from a website, and you can see it's italicized, but it's just the first letter here that is capitalized, and all the others are lowercase. Same for this one. Whereas this one is from a journal and with multiple authors. This was still APA 7, so it actually didn't put all the. This was still APA 6, sorry, so it didn't put all the authors. It should have everybody there, but I want you to see the title here where you have capitalization of all the major words in the title. And so same thing for this one. This is another one, and it's not italicized, right? So capitalization of all the major words in the title. And so again, using the Reference Tool Manager really is helpful in Word. There are other ways that you can grab references from the internet. So like if you're on PubMed, if you pay attention to the little cite icon here by the article you have chosen, then you can make sure that you put it in APA, and then you can copy it, and that's a quick way to just kind of copy paste it in there. Of course, you still have to cite it properly and all of that, and so what I would do sometimes is grab that and then use that information to fill in the fields in Word. And if you did it from ProQuest, then there's a cite tool here, and then when you click on it, you get something like this. Again, you have to make sure you put it in the right format here, and there's all kinds of different formats, and it puts it in the right format for you. You can literally just highlight this and copy and paste, or if you use any other things here, any other management tools, you can export it to those management tools. And so lastly, I'm going to give a shout out to Purdue OWL. So this is where I learned how to do APA when I was in grad school. And so they have excellent resources. And so if you have, more detailed pointed question, I just refer you to their website, because they have a lot of really good information, and it's easy to figure it all out if you just follow their directions. So. Anyway, so that wraps up that video. This is just the citing and references, and for healthcare related papers and works, and I hope this was helpful for you.